What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake MLB DFS Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and of course from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms I said above, directly at WiseTake.com. If you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level, we are a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Go check us out. Day passes available if you want to try us out. That being said, if you're new to this channel, welcome. You've come to the right place for some free fire DFS content, so make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell, don't miss out on any of the free content we put out, currently covering and smashing, mind you, MLB slates Monday through Friday, meaning we stream Sunday night through Thursday night with our first look right here, so don't miss out on the fun. That being said, please like the video. Likes go a long way, really help us out, allow us to continue to do what we do, which is dominate, which is do dirties to thy neighbor via DFS. And yeah, anyway, time to grind. What's going on, bro? See you in the YouTube chat. Good to see everybody. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. We had a little all-star break action. Had a really good weekend DFS wise. Doing big things in the nation. It was a 37-1 day, 13 Sunday. It's just money time. Things are going well. It's still nothing compared to what Paulie did the other day, right? Still rolling on that one, man. I'm still rolling on that high. That was wild. But we're looking to have someone else do the same thing, man. We're looking for someone else to have the same type of success. So I want to see who from the WiseTake Nation is next. Time to grind says good size slate. Need the dirties and seldom. That's right. Dirties and seldom. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry. It just means you ain't been there long enough. All right. So we've got 11 games, I think. 11 games. So we'll go ahead and jump in with starting with top pitchers. So Kevin Gausman, he missed due to a personal injury last time he was supposed to pitch, but hopefully everything's all right because he's back pitching again. He's playing the Dodgers. Very tough offense. I'm curious to see what his ownership ends up being. Gausman is one of the best pitchers on the slate, but I think that he may get a pass up. I think people may pass up on him simply because the Dodgers are one of the best offenses in the game against righties. They have a second in WRC plus at 115, a 175 ISO, only a 22.3% K rate. But for whatever it's worth, it may not be worth anything. Gausman, for whatever reason, has just dominated the Dodgers. I think his last 2 starts, maybe 3 starts. I don't remember what exactly. You got to go look it up. But he's dominated. So I'm curious to see what his ownership looks like. Because if it's low, then I want to go ahead and get me some. If it's heavy, then I want to stay away in tournaments, right? Trevor Rogers has not been confirmed via MLB probables. But if it is Trevor Rogers playing the Nationals, Rogers has some of the best numbers on the slate. Everything's gravy, but there's always a but, right? Washington has crept up this list against lefties, and we kind of we anticipated they would. We figured they would be better than what we've seen against lefties, right? We knew last year they were one of the best left-handed teams in the game. They're very right-handed. 110 WRC plus, which is now the 4th highest in the league against lefties. Don't look now, but the Yankees right after them. But anyway, needless to say, the ISO is not great, 164, but a 339 WOBA is respectable, only a 22.6% K rate. That's going to at least give hesitation to Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers. Yu Darvish, cover boy, for no real reason other than I am anticipating him pitching. I like him. Numbers look good. He's coming off of a game where he got tattooed by the Nationals, right? Scherzer and him went at it, and they both kind of got beat up, right? Darvish has a massive fly ball rate. That's always a concern, but a 29.8% K rate, 3.37 Sierra, 3.77 xFIP. If we take a look at Atlanta, Atlanta's a good offense. We know that. They do strike out, though. 188 ISO, 325 WOBA, 102 WRC plus, but a 25.2% K rate. And while they did pick up Chalk Peterson, which was pretty big, he's been awesome for them already. Keep in mind they did lose Ronald Acuna, which is a disaster. You hate to see players of that caliber getting hurt and missing the season. Even, I am a Met fan, obviously. I think I say that enough. But even Met fan, you should never want to see shit go down like that. You should never want to see a guy get hurt like that. He's a human being, and hopefully he makes a strong recovery, because he was fun to watch, especially for DFS. Right? DFS, we don't give a damn. Money's only got one color, right? Green. But yeah, I think Yu Darvish is definitely in play, and I think that we have to consider that Atlanta's numbers could take a skew with missing a player like that. Could take a turn, I guess I meant to say. I don't know. But Darvish definitely in play, and I think he'll get some love. Kyle Gibson has been all right. We're waiting for some regression to come, but the Sierra and XFIP are starting to kind of come down. It seems like he's genuinely pitching better, but he's playing Detroit, which is a huge matchup boost. 26.7% K rate, 89 WRC plus, 302 WOBA, 151 ISO. Looks great. But do we want to pay $9K or $9.1 on FanDuel for Kyle Gibson? That's where things get tricky. Is that what we want to do? Shohei Ohtani gets a great park in Oakland. A lot of foul ground. 30.7% K rate. Sierra and XFIP are solid. Oaklandia. Let's take a look at that. 102 WRC plus against righties, 313 WOBA, 175 ISO, 23.2% K rate. Not an over-the-top good matchup, but a really good park, and I think that Ohtani is one of the better pitchers in the game. On FanDuel at 10-2, it's a little steep. 8-7 on DraftKings still seems a little low. They've been conservative with his pitch count up until a certain point. And most recently, he's been all right, but we had the All-Star break. We don't really know what to expect. But, I like him, right? Then we get into some of the cheaper guys that we had to decide if we want to take shots on. Number one being Kyle Mueller, and he's in this conversation. As Sierra's under 4. XFIP's a little high, 4.08, higher than we like, right? 50% fly ball rate, batting average balls in play very low. Could be some regression coming, but a 31.3% K rate's interesting. Now, the Padres have been red hot. They have been. They've been very good. But their numbers have been not as good, I guess, against lefties. They do have a 101 WRC plus, but a 317 WOBA, which is low for them. 153 ISO seems low for them. Only a 21.5% K rate. But then I guess we find out if Kyle Mueller really has some strikeout shit or not. Alec Mills, his numbers have improved. His XFIP and Sierra were like over 5 for a little bit there, but he's improved, and he's got some potential positive regression coming with a 324 batting average, balls in play, great ground ball rates. St. Louis is a stingy team with strikeouts, but they're also very stingy with how many runs that they want to score. An 86 WRC plus, 295 WOBA, 148 ISO. I think Caleb Smith, who got lit up in his last start by the Dodgers, not a guy I feel totally comfortable with ever these days. Massive fly ball guy. Games in Arizona. Someone want to check with the roof. But he's playing Pittsburgh, who's dead last in WRC plus against lefties at 83. A 294 WOBA, a 129 ISO, and a 21.9% K rate. This is a team that does not hit a lot of home runs. If they're not going to hit a lot of home runs, then maybe that fly ball rate's okay. Right? But again, these are just guys that are just risky, cheap guys that you can consider. Last but not least, and I think this one may become a little trendy, but Casey Mize. Numbers nothing over the top. 50% ground ball rate solid. But he's produced, right? You can see a 3.59 ERA. He's produced this season. And he will face the Rangers, who have an 89 WRC plus, 299 WOBA, 156 ISO, and a 24.4% strikeout rate against righties. So expect him to get some love at that price. And I'm not trying to talk too bad. I'm not trying to downplay the Rangers too much. They did win our boy Paulie D $35,000 just a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to keep that real. Keep that real. All right. Now it is time Cards fan JP40, what's up, bro? Says top stacks. It's time. Yes, it's exactly what time it is. Time to get into the top stacks. And I got a list of teams here. I'll probably narrow it down a little bit on the article that I write, the Core Plays article. I'll narrow down the stacks a little bit. I'm just gonna throw some teams out there that stood out to me. I'm sure that my favorite stacks are gonna be somewhere in here. We're gonna start with the Blue Jays at home in Buffalo. They are gonna be going to the Rogers Center end of July. For anyone who doesn't know, end of July, Blue Jays are expected to return to the Rogers Center. But the Jays against Pivetta. Mr. Nick Pivetta, where you at, bro? 27.8% K rate, which is respectable. But if we take a look at Toronto, they are third in WRC plus against righties at 113. They have a 192 ISO and only a 21.6% K rate. It's hard to strike them out. 44% fly ball rate, very good hitting park. What's not to like, right? Toronto is very expensive, so you may have to do something strange for a piece of change to be able to afford a Blue Jays stack, but obviously we have a lot of upside here. Next, the Cincinnati Reds against Jared Eichhoff. They are at home. This is the Great American Small Park, one of the better hitting parks in the game. Eichhoff has always kind of been a fly ball guy, giving up a ton of hard contact. He's been awful. I think he's given up 5 home runs already to lefties, and he's barely pitched. So we want to see what the lineup looks like for Cincinnati. They do have some players that have been banged up a little bit, but you got to like, and they really stunk it up against Cameron. What's going on, bro? They really stunk it up against Milwaukee. But Eichhoff is pretty bad. I will say this, though. I will say this about my New York Schmetties. Let me bring it the other way. The Mets do have, their bullpen has actually been really solid this season. It's crept up a little bit because they've had to rely on them a lot more lately. But in general, considering the Mets have always been like the laughing stock type bullpen, their bullpen has improved this season for sure. On the flip side of this game, I think the Mets, my Metsies, also in consideration. They did lose Francisco Lindor to the 10-day DL. I think it's an oblique strain, so who knows how long that's going to take. But they have a matchup against Vlad Gutierrez, who we've talked about having regression coming, right? 248 BABIP, and XFIP and Sierra well over 1.5, or at least the XFIP, right? 5.63 compared to 4.29 ERA. Yeah. Only a 16.5% K rate. Big park boost for the Mets. J.D. Davis is back, and he's on a tear. 2 home runs in the first game back. Pete Alonso, home run derby champion, legendary. You know what I'm saying? So, the Mets on the other side. On top of that, Cincinnati's bullpen, doo-doo butter. Yeah, here we go. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th worst XFIP for their bullpen in the league. Disastrous. So, yeah, give me some New York Mets. Next up, I think the Marlins. We're assuming John Lester's the starter. Again, at MLB probables, they haven't really said who the pitchers are, but we're assuming it's John Lester. If it is, I think he had a good game against Miami. But if you notice, there's been this trend of like when a pitcher does well against a team and he's not that good of a pitcher, when he sees the team again, it's like a different result, right? So I think Miami has potential to do well. And I think they're a team that I'm going to have some, maybe more mini stacks. I may be more on the mini stack side, but I'm going to have some exposure, I think. Tampa Bay Rays against Spencer Watkins. Not a great park for hitting, but Spencer Watkins has not shown us anything spectacular. Obviously, you can see all his numbers are bullshit. 1.74 ERA, but a 5.74 xFIP, 6.25 Sierra, a 214 batting average, balls in play. And they're playing a Rays team implied for 5.5 runs, one of the higher ones on the slate. So I expect Tampa Bay to get some love, they should get some love even in this park. Baltimore's bullpen is Baltimore's bullpen, last but not least, going back to Buffalo with the Red Sox against Mr. Ross Stripling. Now, Stripling's numbers have improved, but he's still got a 45% fly ball rate in a hitting park against one of the best offenses in the league, right? One of the better offenses in the league anyway, Boston. 186 ISO against righties this season. Yes. So those are the offenses I think stood out to me the most. Like I said, I'll probably narrow it down in the article. I haven't been highlighting my favorite stacks directly. I have been providing the core, which you can kind of get the idea that way. But I think this is a slate where I want to outline these offenses, but I want to be a little more specific about which ones are my favorites, and I'll narrow that down in the article. Things to watch: more offenses. The Cubs at Jake Woodford. The Cubs kind of. I mean, listen, they're having a rough season. It seems like by trading Jack Peterson, they're telling you that they're in sell mode. We expect Chris Bryant to be dealt soon. Keep that in mind. But they are facing Jake Woodford, whose numbers just aren't anything spectacular, right? St. Louis is not a particularly good hitting park. Sometimes you get some good weather, but it just seems like the ball never really does it. But the reason I'm highlighting St. Louis is because St. Louis's bullpen is the worst in the league, or highest xFIP in the league. 5. That's their xFIP. Bullpen xFIP combined. 5. That's crazy. So the Cubs are interesting. D-backs at Chase DeJong. Chase DeJong's been a disaster. And the MLB has a massive fly ball rate, massive hard contact rate. Problem is the D-backs offense is fucking atrocious. But still, something to keep an eye on, I guess. Pittsburgh's bullpen also has been pretty bad. They've gotten a lot worse recently, but also struggling. One of the higher ones in the league. Then the Astros, man. What's up with the Astros? The Astros are striking out a ton, man. They're striking out a ton right now. Now, on the season, one of the lowest in the league, right? 18% still. 18% on the season against lefties. And 19.8 against righties. But they've been striking out a lot lately. Go look at the recent game log. They've been striking out a ton. Now, they do have some injuries they're dealing with. But still, they'll face J.C. Mejia, whose ERA is horrendous, but I don't think he's pitched as bad as his ERA indicates. But what's going to give? I mean, something's going to happen. Either J.C. Mejia is going to be the cheap guy you needed, or Houston's going to finally do a little something, right? Something to keep an eye on. I still like the other offenses we discussed better, though. Dong watch, I'm going Pete Alonso, number 1. I'm going to homer out. He's going to homer out, allowing me to homer out. Pete Alonso, number 1. Number 2, Jesse Winker. Sticking with the same game, opposite team, going for the lefty against Eichhoff, Jesse Winker. And then Miguel Rojas. Let's go with the Marlin. I like Miguel Rojas. I like to play him. And I love to play him against lefties. So I'm going with Miguel, assuming he's in the damn lineup. I think he will be against. If it's Lester, I think he will be. So, my 2 cents. Anyway, Nation, that's going to do it for this edition of the MLB Wise Stream. Starting off the week hot, starting off the week strong. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check us out at WiseTake.com. I appreciate those of you hanging out with me live. Appreciate those of you watching after the fact. Leave some comments. Comments we appreciate. We like to go back and look at them. And, whether it's about the slate, whether it's about the show itself, we still appreciate it either way. All right. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.